right. I sincerely apologize, everyone. My laptop died right as I was running to get the charger. Had issues with this particular device, but it's all good. Keep it moving. I have my pan hot. So we got our bread ready. I'm using the cast iron pan. I prefer to use cast iron or stainless steel. When you're cooking with material, metals, it's going to get in your food. So I rather have more iron in my blood. Um, I need to do more research about the steel, but I know that it is a better cookware to use. And if y'all just pardon me, because I'm not just making unleavened bread, I'm finishing up dinner as we are chatting. All right. And I'm going to dust it with just a little bit more flour. And you can add oil to the batter as well. I usually do add oil, but I forgot this time. But it's okay because you're going to most likely use oil in the pan, and that's where your oil will come from. I don't like to use a lot of oil when making this particular item because you just don't need it. It's going to cook because the pan is hot. You really just want to add a little bit of oil so you can see it and so that it doesn't stick. And us dusting it with flour is going to help as well. Okay. Thank y'all for bearing with me on the first live. I'm excited though, because it's just going to go up from here. It's just going to go up from here. Okay. Now, what I'm interested to see is if it's going to bubble. As I said before, when I made flatbread this week, I used sparkling water, which acts as a leavening agent. So I didn't do that this time. So I wonder if it's going to bubble. That was one of the indicators that it's done, but it's like making a pancake almost. It's easier than making a pancake. You just want it brown on both sides. And I'm making a quick Alfredo in the back, so you hear that. Real quick Alfredo. Just some plant cheese, coconut milk, vegetable broth, and that's it. And it's gonna get thick. You just whisk it up like you would make a regular. Ooh, yeah. Like you would make a regular Alfredo. Just swapping out the cheese. Okay. And it will take tops 1 to 2 minutes to cook. The unleavened bread is actually done. So what I like to do, I like to treat it like homemade tortilla. Which I get a plate. Look at that. That's what you want. It's brown. Little brown spots. And we know it's done. So I get a plate and a top. Trap the heat. That keeps it soft. Now you get this einkorn flour. Put this on the table. My oven is occupied. If you get this einkorn flour, this is similar to all-purpose flour because, like I said, the germ and the bran has been removed, so it makes it more fluffier. The reason I'm okay with using this is because it's an ancient flour, and I've already eaten it, and it has not clogged up my system. And I 1000% attribute that to it being an ancient flour. Okay. You probably need to baste the pan each time with a little bit of oil because that's why you shouldn't use too much because the bread is going to absorb it. And I just need one moment, everyone. I'm making a few dishes at once. I realized I didn't have enough food for everybody. So I was like, oh, I didn't make this a little bit more. So I'm making pasta. No leaven. This pasta is actually made with yellow lentils and brown rice. Making my own version of a pasta side. Used to eat those a lot growing up. Go ahead and make the rest of this pasta. Everybody, you're getting a like 3 for 1 special. There's a few meals going on right now, but you know how we do. Stay cooking. Okay. Okay, I'm going to leave you all here on the charger. Thank you. Can see me? Yes. The dough does tend to stick if you leave it long enough, so just going to pull it off and add more flour. And it does not take long at all. To be honest, the longest part is probably stirring and kneading. And I gave measurements in the beginning, but to be honest, you really don't even measure. you don't need to measure. You just want to add enough dough in comparison with water so that, well, enough flour in comparison with water so that you're creating a dough that is pliable, malleable, and will turn into this. This is unleavened bread. This is flatbread. Unleavened bread. Sizzle dizzle. And that's it, y'all. You can add as much flavor, seasonings as you want. I was actually supposed to add something to it, but I forgot. But hey, you can flavor it however you want. And it makes sense why it's so easy, because the reason we do this is because our forefathers were in haste. They didn't have time for the bread to rise. They had to go. Unleavened bread. And with a hot pan, it's going to cook very quick. Cool. Hey, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in. We got us some unleavened bread. The video is way longer than how long it takes to make this, I promise. It literally will take you 10 minutes, which is exciting because you can eat this bread outside of unleavened bread. It doesn't have all the additives. And let me show y'all. Look, there's no yeast, nothing added to make this soft. This is literally water and flour. So we're getting gypped at the grocery store when we think this actually looks like pita bread, like them non breads. We're getting gypped at the grocery store thinking that there needs to be 10,000 ingredients for it to be soft like this. Water and flour. That is it. Now, I did want to tell you all this particular brand of einkorn that I got it from Whole Foods, but places like Thrive Market have it. I think maybe Sprouts Farmers Market. But as you can see, this, I was just really reading off of what they advertise. Easy to digest, low gluten content, unbleached, unbromated. So it doesn't have the bleaching, and bromating is associated with leavening. So this is a good flour to use for unleavened. All right. Well, that's pretty much it, everybody. Thank you all for bearing with me on my first live. It is my first live. Many more to come. Just wanted to show you all unleavened bread because this is the season for us. If you have any questions, you can put them in. Is there a specific flour we should use? This is the einkorn flour. This is an ancient flour. And I recommend it because a lot of people, to be honest, if you're going to do an ancient flour, most of the time it has the germ and the bran, which is very good for us. But if you want it to be soft and still not constipate you, you want to get the bran and the germ removed. And this is what they did with this einkorn flour. Now, this is an easy flour to digest. You definitely, it's not like an all purpose flour. Um, Earlier, we were talking about the different flours. And today, when you go into the grocery store, if you get pasta, if you get bread, anything, crackers, anything with flour, unless it specifies that it uses rye, einkorn, which is this, spelt, barley, unless it specifies, it's using the hybridized GMO flour, which is durum or semolina. Now, I'm not sure if they're just the same one or if they're two different kinds. Please. I'm not sure if they're the same one or if they're two different kinds of the wheat, but I know that semolina and durum is what you're going to see in the stores all the time unless otherwise specified. That is the flour that's causing celiac disease for most people. That is the flour that's constipating everybody. That's the flour that they dish out to everyone, I believe, because it's cheap to make and it's easy to produce. I mean, why else would they want to give us that type of flour? Einkorn, spelt rye, are all ancient flours. And I think it's also validated in Ezekiel. So the Bible validates these type of flours as being ancient. They just align with our system. Um, they were really about seed time and harvest back then. Taking if it does take longer, I'm not sure that it takes longer for these types of wheat to grow, but this was the top-notch quality that our people were eating. And we're wondering, like, why are they eating so much bread and they are good? Because they're using this kind of flour. And like I was saying before, if you want that soft texture, I would recommend doing the the bran and the germ removed from these types of flours. Your einkorn, your spelt, your rye, because you're going to get that soft texture without it disturbing the flow of your system. There's still going to be vitamins and nutrients in it because of where it came from. Now, the better version is going to be the one with the germ and the sperm because it's going to be more fiber. But I can attest, I had this week and I was not constipated. So, excellent question. I just want to make sure no one had any other questions. But yeah, thank you all for joining. Of course, we know, I have to say this, these ancient flours are not going to be as cheap as the regular all-purpose flour. The reason is because these brands are not going to get government subsidies to feed the population with something better. You're going to get government subsidies for the other types of flour, which is the hybridized one, because that goes without saying. They want our people to continuously be sick. But it's an investment. It's an investment in our health, and it tastes better. It tastes way better, y'all. It's so good. And you're not losing anything. You're gaining everything. So invest in your health now so that you won't be in the hospital or dealing with chronic illnesses later. Okay? Because constipation causes a whole world of issues. All right. Okay, yes, I will. There's way more better where this came from. But that's pretty much the gist, everybody. I want to thank you all for streaming with me, bearing with me, viewing this live. Like I said, more will be coming. Most High dropped it in my spirit the other day to make a video making some unleavened bread. So all praises. Thank you all so much for liking, commenting, subscribing, and continue to come with me, grow with the channel. And we're going to go back into the ancient path through the plate. See y'all. Happy Sabbath.